Excerpt from the Massetti Prime Gazette. Translated to human units based on your location. Dear readers, humans are famously durable creatures, but they can still get injured or ill. Human healthcare is therefore a fairly major part of their society, especially considering how rough even their everyday activities can be. But some of you may be surprised to know exactly how advanced their health systems are. In many areas, they even surpass our own greater galactic core healthcare systems. Humans can recover from abrasions, lacerations, broken bones, major puncture wounds, and even the wholesale loss of limbs, with alarmingly primitive care, provided that they can stave off infection. Indeed, there are many instances recovered by human archaeologists of ancient human bones showing the scars of old wounds that healed well before their death. Throughout their history, they continuously strove to increase their ability to heal the wounded and cure the sick. Not every idea worked, but they are a determined people, and their history provided plenty of wounded they might try and save, from war wounded to plague victims. In less than 100 years, they went from sawing off bones with no painkillers to open chest surgery and blood transfusions. Heart surgery on beating hearts, robotic surgery, nano-drugs, self-powered artificial limbs, bioenhancements. The list of human medical miracles continues on and on. And most of their recent developments are so esoteric that I can't even begin to understand them. One particularly unique aspect of human medicine is that they have entire disciplines of care dedicated to the treatment of cancer. Most species don't live around such radioactive stars as the human homeworld. This, combined with the genetic instability that developed as a result of their stressed evolution, created a species-wide propensity to cancer. A disease of the cells, where cell division runs unchecked. Other species categorize this with diseases that fall under slow-acting radiation sickness. But humans can spontaneously develop this disease and have over the course of 200 years turned the identification and treatment of these difficult and individualistic diseases into something of a triviality. I must again stress how important human durability and immune systems were to their remarkable progress. Your average Parltrix can't take a fall on their homeworld without suffering significant cracking of their exoskeleton. And their blood runs so freely that they would easily be classified as hemophiliacs by human doctors. Whereas, a human may be mauled in the wilderness and then drag themselves kilometers for a week before reaching aid. Thus, when a human suffers a wound, they have a good chance of getting to some medical help before expiring, and that's valuable experience for the doctor. And that doctor is then aided by the ability to keep that wounded human alive while they crudely cut through them with extra blood and a cacophony of drugs. Add to that the human immune system, which is as powerful as it is ruthless, and you have an almost perfect patient for medical research. When one of us GGC citizens gets seriously injured or seriously sick, there's a good chance we're already dead before anyone can help us. So imagine my surprise, dear readers, to find myself waking up in a human hospital, being given care from human doctors. After a rather intense attack of exhaustion, combined with dehydration, I collapsed in a large crowd and was immediately taken to the nearest human hospital. Despite the emotionally damaging lack of my species on the planet I was visiting, the doctors knew exactly how to treat the problems I was having. It turns out, dear readers, that humans have taken it upon themselves to be ready to care for not only humans, but also every single intelligent species in the galaxy. A human doctor is not considered proficient in her craft unless she can do her job on no less than 4 non-human species. Whether that job is pediatric care or brain surgery makes no difference. I met several amazing people while in the hospital, recovering. And I hope you won't mind, dear readers, if I share a couple of their stories with you. There was Rachel Eckert, a 184-year-old human woman. Rachel was a child on Earth when humans were first colonizing their solar system. She told me of when her parents woke her up in the middle of the night to watch the first humans walk on the planet Mars on the internet. She smiled so wide as she described her confusion about why the video was such low quality. She had never seen a video that wasn't in high definition, never mind the long delay due to the distances. Rachel's long life was coming to a conclusion as her first-generation modifications were failing inside her body. The doctors couldn't do much other than give her enough time to say goodbye to her family, arriving from all over the sector, and make her comfortable. Even humans will die eventually. I also met Luther, an adorable little human child, only 5 years old. Luther was born blind and was finally old enough to receive the first of several intensive genetic treatments to fix his optic nerves. He was most excited about being able to see color in a few years and talked at great length about how he thought that he would like green best because it was his mother's favorite color too. A few days after talking to him, I stopped by to see how he was doing, and it was the most amazing thing to watch him turn his head towards the door as I approached, shouting, "I see you there, Shadow." This child has an entirely different fate than the one he was born to because of their amazing work. Finally, I met Claramoto, a young woman undergoing preliminary chemotherapy for the eventual treatment of a dangerous tumor in her brain. Despite her serious condition and the difficulty of treatment for such a sensitive area, she was perhaps in even better spirits than little Luther was. She always had a smile on her face and encouraged me to watch old human movies, a form of entertainment with her as she took her treatment chemicals. There is no delicate way to say this, but Clara was in agony as she talked me through the history of human cinematic achievements. Chemotherapy is basically a whole body poison that happens to work on cancers a little faster than everything else. And the doctors had to weaken the tumor and stop the growth before they could apply more advanced treatments for its removal. Miss Moto's bravery was astounding to me. I was more impressed by her strength than with their soldiers on Massetti. Her struggle was so personal and painful, and yet she still smiled. It awed me. There were more than just those stories though. Every human emotion seemed to be on display in that building, amplified and reflected towards everyone present. The frustration and exhaustion on a surgeon's face as a procedure could not progress as planned. There was anger and crushing sadness as a husband loses a wife. There was unbridled joy of new fathers holding their first child, born of artificial wombs. It was exhausting to be in that building, physically, as I recovered, and emotionally, as I dealt with the intense situations that happen in hospitals. But I know this. I'm much more hopeful of my surviving this trip to human space, knowing that they have saved my life once already. Be well, dear readers. Haltil Valken, Xenoculture Correspondent, Massetti Prime Gazette. Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video.